Folk, it is that time of day when I remind you every Monday and Tuesday to be kind to your brothers and your sisters. You know, this morning as I head out to come to radio, a member of my staff was just telling me, sharing an experience with me that she met a friend that she went to school with, and that friend told her that, look, you know, I had a very torrid time going through school, and I want to thank you. The kindness you shared with me growing up probably saved my life. You never can tell. Be kind to your brother and sister. And don't wait for the results because the results are already there. All right, somebody here says, how these PMP so lie and wicked and full of bad mind. They say the school buses coming to Jamaica are old buses. Check this, every vehicle in this US and Canada are left-hand drive. No. Why not can't try get some information? Every vehicle in the USA and Canada are left-hand drive? No. There are provisions in the United States to drive cars that are on the right, that are right-sided. You didn't know that? You have to check them little something there now. Just that the insurance and everything more expensive. But just like how we have left-hand drive cars, they also have German cars, especially, and some of them are right-hand drive. Okay? Okay? Alright, but let me see if I get the bad mind story. These buses coming from the USA are right-hand drive, so the buses have to be new. No. Oh dear. Alright, anyway, the person ends by saying, Vaz and Warmington, done with them. LOL. Alright. But it's not true, alright, that the buses have to be left-hand drive in the US and Canada. Good morning, Doc. The issue they are having is that Andre's posters were placed in area it was designated for, that was designated for paid advertising. Alright, so they took it down. Alright. Aye. I think you still get the point, you know. I think you still get the point. I will leave it there, but I still think you get the point. Yeah. The lunatics are running the asylum. Montego Bay is a filthy city, disorderly. And before the mayor addresses the real problems, he wants to be known as the mayor who declared war on political posters of his political opponents. Okay? Alright? So we're saying that a lot needs to be done, and the mayor needs to focus on the real things. I think statistics in Jamaica is no longer valid or credible. For example, recently, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica has been changing the parameters of metrics to measure data. We only become aware of these changes when they are giving their reports. If they have changed the measure of the measurement, okay, why are they comparing this new data with previous data? If you change it, then you can't do that. I get the point. The person is saying that, and I'm going to say what the person is implying, that they've been, that institutions that are run by particular governments, or successive governments, or this government, whichever one it is that the person is saying, have been changing the measuring stick or the measures, and as a result, the material becomes propagandistic. I think that's the point. In my opinion, as men, we should not enter into fatherhood and expect praises as fuel to do the work. Not to say getting it isn't nice, but you have to get the fuel from your results and your ability to do the task of a father. Otherwise, you will find yourself with the will to perform. You won't. Okay, I get the point. Okay. Doc, the group going into retirement could be used as a volunteer on a volunteer basis. Schools, hospitals, and the police stations could use them for administrative purposes. Not sure if this would displace jobs. Your thoughts? The truth of the matter is, I don't see the people around me who are even 70 years old. I don't see them in that light as volunteers. They're pretty solid workers. I just think after they get to about 60, people should have a choice of whether or not they want to continue or what they want to do. Yeah, depending on what's happening around them. I have a 73-year-old friend who has a brand new baby. 73 with a brand new baby girl. Of course, this person wants to work to take care of his daughter. Yeah, he doesn't want his wife of 42 years old to be taking care of a baby girl and a baby man. That can't work. But my brethren doesn't require any sympathy. He owns a business. He's quite well off. But I'm just saying that we're going to have to be a little bit more mature and flexible about matters relating to people who are older people. Good afternoon, Dr. Gale. I have come to the understanding that it is a deliberate plan when we have disruptions like roadworks and other such things. Beres Hammond sums it up in a song, Putting Up Resistance. The powers keep the people disorganized and stressed, hence they have the margins to keep control of the people. Thanks, Ken. I say it all the time. We can't be that chaotic just for the purpose of being stupid and not producing. Wow, this one is long. Okay, this is from the Razor. Recall the controversies as to whether the economy has been in recession during the last 2 quarters of 2024. The PIOJ carved out a new definition of recession and contended that GDP would have bottomed out during the first quarter of 2025. Okay, I think I'm getting the point. But recession has the same international meaning, sir, and definition. Okay, don't get caught up in the drama. Last week, Statin said that it had adopted a new methodology in computing GDP. Statin also advised reclassification, resulting in the addition of 3 new components of the GDP equation. Statin also announced 1.1% growth in GDP for the first quarter in 2025. While there seems to be consensus that Statin needs to be more transparent and innovative, it would seem that Statin's innovation includes treating expenditures of the security forces, the value of their hardware, and data and crime reduction as growth in GDP. Whilst the innovation might be enterprising politically, the opposite would be true economically and business wise. It was no secret that during the tenure of Dr. Omar Davis as Finance Minister and Dr. Hughes as Director General of the PIOJ, the latter would defend the data it had disseminated on the premise that they had been professionally computed and not politically. A final point, customarily, budgetary supplements would have been presented after the first 2 quarters in September. Recall that Dr. Clark had encountered difficulties constructing the budget for the fiscal year 2024 because revenue projection for 2023 fell short. Recall also that it is customary to present a supplementary budget when necessary 6 months subsequent to the main budget or in September. Just to say, it is curious that a supplementary budget has been presented during the first quarter of the fiscal year 2025. Is this not indicative of something has been out of whack? All right. So basically, these presentations are suggesting that the good old trick by governments, and the person has made an attempt to be objective by pointing out Omar Davies and Dr. Hughes to say that he thinks the PIOJ is now being creative again.
You?
Well, I'm there.
That. There
Yes.
are 2 things I want to talk about.
Yes.
Now, if you travel in the States, right,
Yes.
Canada, and see the school buses, then, right,
Mm-hmm.
you don't you know them, how them say, yellow and whatsoever the case might
Yes. Yes.
be, right?
They're very clearly marked.
Exactly. And they say if you overtake the school bus, is an offense or whatsoever, if, where it's parked to pick up children, right? And you overtake them and whatsoever the case might be. It's like a treason. Now, if we know these type of buses and them come to Jamaica, we have a age limit in which we import cars, right? Motor vehicle, right?
Yes.
So the point is, when you say whether we bad or whatsoever, 15-year-old, and you give permission to import them, and people say, no, but how comes the limitation of a private your vehicle? It's 10 years or whatsoever the case might be. How comes if you say that them want discuss a bad man, your bad man? Who authorized the 16-year-old vehicle to import arrive in Jamaica just for school bus system?
But Sir P, isn't the bigger question what's the definition of bad mind?
Yeah. No. I'm just
because I mean I could say right now you're bad mind not to be having this discussion with me.
exactly, but your reality where that is concerned. No, the main thing what I call about that. The
Yes.
12:30 news say the ambulance driver in the corporate here is Sarah. KPH had strike and then not want to resume work until Tuesday because back payment was promised in April, right? And from 2022, they have not gotten the money, so them on strike. So, no. Middle class or upper class, Dr. Gill, right? If they have a sick, right, them can go to some of the private ambulance company and provide ambulance service to their patient, family, to the hospital, right? And doctor. No, Dr. Gill. No, the government said they have money a wash, right? NIR, right? The NIR reach a stage is the best it have ever been in Jamaica. We have reserve. They use some of the government money. I'm not contradicting that because I realize it's true, right? Because they use some of the money, the surplus money, spending where government party political campaign, they use it and sponsor them program and whatsoever the case might be. They make a one-off payment at $20,000 or whatsoever the case in NIS and minimum wage $1,000 across the board. And Dr. Gill, you want to tell me now because of poor people, right, who go and use the ambulance service, them can't find the money to pay the people them after they promise them to pay them from April, to pay them, that's the people them have to strike and when somebody sick, for example, you are in one of them hospital, right? And say you are in Linston and Linston are in Chapton and Chapton have 2 ambulance and there's a patient have to transport to Maypen Hospital or Spanish Town Hospital and the ambulance driver the man sick out. Right? Oh, on earth that the poor Jamaican wants survive where that is concerned. Why they don't pay the people them the money? Them have the money because they use it for political gain and whatever. They were it better you say, boy, watch out. Me not pay till after election, then they go pay election, you know. But don't promise the people them in April, say go and pay the people them the payment will be in April or whatever the case might be. Only to find out, say, pay them and you do explain to them what you expect them to do. What the farmer protest now? Not for strike and make Jamaica know what happened. Because you can't go in the bank and say, why you pay. You can't go to the government and say, give me my money or else me to go do certain things. So you use the weapon what you have to bring it to the public.
So that's not bad mind.
No.
No, I'm just checking, I'm just checking because the word bad mind seem to be very popular these days.
Yeah,
so
come on. And you strike for your pay and whatsoever the case might be.
If you strike, you're not bad minding the government.
No.
You're actually making sure the government is not bad minding you.
Exactly. All right, now, cool.
All right, bye. Oh, boy. Andrew, how you doing?
Hello?
Yes, my brother. What's up?
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, from I was a child growing up, Yeah, I've been listening politics here in Jamaica, watching the political scene, Yeah, and obviously I think that the both of the party they use and the people over the years, we start seeing now where whenever there's the election season come around, a lot of vehicles coming through your communities with loud music, Even last year, one of the JLP vehicle them I go through. Say I think about vote for Labour, you know. Vote for Labour.
Man, you're bad man in our sales department, and that sounds like a free ad.
No man, and CNP vehicle I say, my father born here, my grandmother born here, and then
All right, too many free ads now. You're bad
yeah,
man in
yeah, when me look,
you're bad
yeah,
man in Power 106 now.
when me look at it, you know, me I say.
Yeah.
From me, I look at you, me have some old people in my family. Them, a few of them pass now. And they used to run around with political parties.
Okay.
And then the same trick is like, me I say to myself, like, you know, here, like, they have, like, these, after election is over, they should have, like, these same vehicles going around and saying people of Central Kingdom, people of Southeast, Central, whatever, whichever constituency, come out and meet with the MPs and the political directorate and see how we can find solution to make your community better. You know, you can
Right.
talk to us, whatever.
So what you're saying is that once the election done, then gone.
They're gone. You don't see the MP,
Then
they
disappear.
can hide.
Them bad mind the program. We're using the word bad mind today, yes, sir. Them bad minded people them after them, good minded people them before election, and after the election them bad minded people them.
Yeah. So, you know, modern time now, man, the politician them start do better than that man where, you know, the same things trying to the 60s, 70s coming up, you know?
Oh, my
So,
brother, bless up yourself.
yeah, they need to do better, man. And
Yeah,
I
man.
think, you know, before we go, I think when there's the party them more than likely they impose a candidate on the constituency, the people them have to accept it. What they should have done, like you have 4 candidates and have the candidates go around, have town hall meetings, let the candidate them sell themselves to the people, what they want to bring to the constituency.
And then allow the people to select.
Allow the people them within the constituency,
that's a good idea.
not just JLP or PNP, people them vote for who they want. You know?
Good one, my brother. Bless
So
up yourself.
both parties just impose somebody.
Yeah, man. Not a good practice. You're right. John, my brother. Hello. We have two Johns usually calling. I don't know. None of them not on today. All right, TT, how you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my brother.
My brother, you have come to Kingston when the youth of the youth clubs and so on at SPC. And you know, when I was brought into Kingston the other day to look at Kingston, the way it had run down. And, you know, the Prime Minister constituency, and, you know, it brings me back right to where you were talking, the elder. You know, really when you look at some of these constituencies, we need social people to go in and look at, because some of these elders are being brutalized by younger people in a lot of ways. And, you know, I was saying that we really, when you look at Kingston, with the 5th best harbor in the world, and you look at how Kingston steer, it's rubbish, it's run down, you know, garbage all about. I couldn't believe why I feel about a bush or Westmoreland, you know, because at least you can create a compound.
So you're bad man in town. No, look, we have to work. We're working with the word bad man today. I want to know if you're bad man in the town, people. Then
It's you I want to put in that position because
me. No, sir.
you were with some of my friends, them like,
No, sorry.
those
No, you're
guys
bad man in me now. No, sorry.
who used to do a lot of social work
Mm-hmm.
in those areas through SDC. And, you know, we really need to start to really try to set up a Kingston from Terry right back to Harborsview. And I think that I have been telling this on the other night, so because you not give me enough time to talk, don't give me 5 minutes. So you can't even talk about you're a bad man. You're a bad man. You're a bad man.
That's how the program set up today. Program today is a very bad-minded program. Bless up yourself.
You are blessed enough already. I'm never finished. You're really
Oh, you're not done?
bad
Okay,
man.
okay, all right. Let me be good
Yes.
mind to you then. I'll be good
Oh.
mind to you and you're finished.
I am just simply saying, no, that I see some other people taking it up now.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, like in America, you know, people bill out, like especially in New York, people just take on and bill out a street and make part the people who own the house get a good lot that they can live out their life.
Yeah.
Could we try something like that in that Western Belt, man? Them time, because Joe Ross must tell about the Western Belt in those days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it run on bad, man, when you look on the
Yeah.
Prime Minister constituency.
Yeah,
Cockburn,
a lot has deteriorated, my brother.
A lot of things
Yeah,
need to be
we
done.
talk again soon, all right?
All right, but
All
it's
right,
a
brother.
bad man.
Yeah, man, bye-bye. So what do you think is the greatest barrier to development in Jamaica? Massively, the failure of successive governments to invest in the people. That is the greatest barrier to development, which means they haven't educated them. They haven't made a transition from being ruled to self-rule because they haven't invested in the people. And they've basically parasited on the people to enjoy their labor right and comrade governments in which they can do whatever they want. That is the greatest barrier. So yeah, if they had just invested and made a transition, wouldn't have the high levels of violence, wouldn't have all of these things. But I can see how they have been manipulating the people because a lot of the people are not aware of what is required to have governance. I would like to ask the PM and the Tourism Minister to explain to us who are the developers behind the many high-rise hotels in Montego Bay and Hanover. Are the Israelis funding some of these projects? They should not be allowed in any space that wants to remain sovereign and safe. The public needs to know. We need the CARICOM summit to end with definitive statements on Haiti and the Israeli genocide. More action, less posing, and waste of time. Okay? John, how you doing?
Hi, good afternoon, my brother.
Blessings, man.
And how are you?
I'm good, man.
Yes, glad to know that. You know, no one's against a rural bus system for our students.
Okay.
Everybody wants our students to travel safely and on a timely basis.
Okay.
But that does not detain us from asking the question about these buses that come to the country, because we know that these buses have spent years in the education department in the United States, years, and we want to know if they go buy the government buy them or get them. And what will be the cost of retrofitting these buses? Because sometimes we do something about defeat the cost, you know. I believe our children deserve to ride in a better bus than these.
Okay.
Do
Do you have any idea what the age of the buses are?
Well, I read last when I come in, them purchased. I don't know where them purchased from, but it was about 15 years old.
But some of the buses are like 15 years old.
And the last stage that
2010.
nothing over 15-year-olds to come to the country. So if you take a 15-year-old bus and carry the country, it's not going to last another 6 months or so. Because the wear and tear, although the condition of the American roads are much different than ours. But after that time when these buses start run power road, there's no time when start but down.
Well, I'm seeing people here saying that just bad mind, man.
No. We are good mind. That is why we are talking about good buses for our children. Because we're good mind, we want the best for our children. You can't come take up some junk and care about you're doing something good. Why we have to take we are the worst. We are the worst. We can make arrangements with the champions and people who are already here. Yes, you have some bus. Okay. But you have good buses. You can charge, you can buy some short bus as a coaster bus them and have them specifically for children. You don't have to bring in some whole vehicle. And if you do something good, that's the the cars. Get the seat in the car because that bus I go up Junction, I go up Jericho Hill. Hanover. These roads are very narrow roads. And the bus brought down. Our children, new bus can go down to but the older bus are more likely to break down.
Higher probability, yes.
Yes. So our children stuck, traffic jam up, and then, you have some communities where these buses cannot go. So they proposed by the PMP to make these the present drivers, albeit you make sure them people sign agreement with the government saying that certain type of behavior on the road will not be tolerated. And say it will slip your slide. So if a taxi man have a contract with the government, or a bus man have a contract with the government to tie these school children to a certain point, the money doesn't work. They will be out there because I'm sure it's money. They not have hooks and buses to make money. They know say this money is something sure. So they will go out and do the work. Then you can have a couple of JOTC bus. Although the bus are told because the waiting lights are longer and longer. But you have these buses now, some coaster, what JOTs are government buses, going coaster, where we take them from the main town to a certain spot. Because certain places, the bus will never go, the JOTC bus can't go to Caps district in Hanover. It can't go certain places in Westmoreland.
So let me see if I get it. You're saying that those big buses are suited for urban space.
Yes.
And the rural space buses would require different types of buses. That's what you're saying?
Different type of
transportation. Why would you say that?
Huh?
You think like some of the areas you're listing that they would require smaller, sturdier buses? That's what you're saying?
Smaller units.
Smaller units, okay.
Yeah, either car or some of the van, some new type of van, or 15 people. They will need these in those areas. You know, them buses can't go so. They have to pay the cost. But at the same time, we just need to know what's the cost of this bus. And you know what I think what can understand a lot of our journalists, the PMP come out and say they want to spend $1.9 billion to feed our children per year. The year where the money come from? Yeah, JLP got broke up that place. Say, boy, you must spend $500 billion or so, and nobody has where the money come from. So if the JLP can find, if the JLP government can find $50 billion to do our work here, while the PMP government can't find 1.9 to feed our children. Why the reason can't find it? It is there. All we need to do is to prioritize the education of our children, the nutrition of our children, and the getting to school of our children. You prioritize that. And then you know, say, you work with it. Because when our children are being fed in school, you know, there are farmers who start bad about wastage. Because these food are coming and it's going to feed our children. Less rice and flour. But potato, yam, bananas, more vegetable, anything, chicken. These things, and the farmer will benefit at least three somebody that will benefit right there. The people who are transported to the school, the man who do the work in the farm, and the children. So I use one thing to benefit three. My brother says something. I am happy. I'm just waiting. Because no matter what nobody talks, the PMP cannot go to the next election.
Wow.
And the PMP, the least PMP can get, that much the PMP can get, is 34. When we had the JLP, I come out and say, they're going to win 33 seats. How can you be a government that say you do things? And you have 49 here, you bring yourself to 33. So you lose the election already. You have already lost. You cannot be a government who say you do enough things, you do this and that. Yet still, you are saying to yourself, you have to go to 33 seats. So already, what do you you give 16 seats?
All right, John, so we're going to hold you to those predictions?
Yes. 34.
All right,
PMP. Can't get less than that. Must be higher.
All right, my brother. Bless up yourself.
Respect Amal as a friend.
All right, my brother. All right, this person says, Dr. Gill, I heard Mayor Vernon making a big stink about signs being put up in Montego Bay in support of the Palestinian people. So now we know where this mayor stands on that issue. That doesn't say so. Why? What? Man, why not always write these things? If I take down something, I can take it down on a personal basis as a mayor, because mayors are politicians are humans, or I can take it down because it's simply not paid for. So now we know where this mayor stands. I think that's unfair. Montego Bay is one of the filthiest places anywhere, and instead of paying attention to cleaning up this so-called tourist capital, this mayor is trying to create confrontation with people who are exercising their right to support the Palestinian people. But I think the issue is also whether or not they have the right to put up signs at a particular place. We actually have to be very clear on that one also, yeah? Pablo, how you doing?
Not too bad, Doc. How you doing?
Blessings, man. I'm good, man.
All right. I hear the people, especially the labor rights, making a fuss about Mark Gold and white man and so on. And a lot of these people, if you are honest, a lot of these people would admit that in the employment field, they are treated in a more brutal way by their fellow black people or black men. And a lot of them who accomplish a lot of things, they are accomplishing by going to work in countries run by white men and have white men as their employer.
Okay, basically, I'm assuming you are saying what I have said here repeatedly, that anybody can be racist.
Yeah.
And that we reactive racism, which is the term used for it, this is for when black people or any other people who have been oppressed become racist towards people that they assume are their oppressors.
Yeah. And if these people are talking that, see two jobs there, one run by a black man and two companies, one run by a black man and a company run by a white man. I am quite sure they are more anxious to work with the white.
Pablo, it gets worse. Because 3 of my students now have actually found that Jamaicans prefer to buy at a Chinese shop than to buy from their fellow black shop. In fact, we have an anthropology candidate doing his PhD who was a bit shocked when he tried many years ago to do his study for undergraduate study. He's doing his PhD now. That the people said, me prefer to go down and Mr. Chin.
Yeah.
So these are the same people. You see, the truth of the matter is race has always been very present, and what people do is manipulate it. So when it suits them, right? But there's nothing funnier, believe me, there's nothing funnier than seeing a light-skinned person say that the other one who's here is slightly different is racist, and I've seen that a lot of times.
Yeah. And when the same black man treat them badly and brutal, they don't have a problem with it. Make the white man try it.
Well, they do have a problem with it, but when they want to be racist, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, a lot of companies that I know come here, especially in the hotel industry, Doc. When they come, these people don't just come out.
Hold on, though, Pablo. Let's take a quick break.
And these people plan every dollar that they are going to pay, how much people they are going to employ, and what wages they are going to pay them before they even come to Jamaica, you know.
Right.
And when they come to Jamaica and employ the human resource, the human resource people, the human resource manager, and the human resource department, and when the human resource managers and the department look at the salary, them say to the white man, "You're an idiot. You can't pay them so much money. This is the minimum wage, and this is that. You pay them so much money." The same black people, I said that, you know, doctor, can you imagine? Black people, I tell the white man, say, "You can't pay them so much."
Yeah, man. We call those overseers in the plantation. Yeah, man. We have a name for everybody, you know.
Yeah, and then now people parade and talk about we can't have a black, we can't have slave master lead us and background master and this and that. The black man is worse.
Yeah, man.
From my experience, worse.
Can be
If I
crazy.
if I 10 job there and I say a black man have a job and a white man have a job, I feel more comfortable going and work with the white man, you know. Trust me, than the black man.
You're afraid of the colonized people, eh?
You're afraid of the black man. Him can't, but when you read something, I don't know who write it. So when the slave take over the plantation, I don't remember the writing when the slave occupy the descendant of slave occupy the Bucky Master chair. He can be more brutal than Bucky Master.
Well, you know how much pain you can take.
Yeah, and some of those black men, you know, is them was used was beating the
overseers. Yeah, man, they're called overseers.
Them and the overseers. Yeah, man. So when they come with this nonsense about background master and this and that, me not pay them no mind because me know better. And I would have take a job in most of what me earn or achieve is by working with white people, not black people.
Well, I don't have the luxury of racism. I don't have that luxury. I think it's a luxury for a lot of people to be in the dark like that. Yeah. But I will say to you as we close that we have to look out for people and ignore their skin, yeah?
Yes.
All right, my brother. Bless up yourself, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Rebuses, Dr. Gale. I miss the days of our colorful buses. I think they kept us grounded. I seen Kenya, they have buses called Matatu. Okay, I don't know that. I've never been to Kenya. In London, all the buses are uniform in color. Just imagine it was the same here. Does colors affect cultures differently? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But our culture is hilarious because we're not very structured, you know. And we've managed to do without structure. I'll take this one before we go back to the phone lines. What do you think about the Energy Minister approach to JPS? The utterance, and please note, I deem it an utterance, that there will be no new contract with JPS and so forth, has to be dealt with as in an academic manner for the time being. And this is my approach to these things. My brother or my sister was asking about the approach. Let me use back the word approach. My approach is to wait and see. Because remember, there has to be a contract with JPS. Remember, Jamaica owns part of JPS. All right? So when you say there's no new contract, yada, 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 they're assuming that until certain things are put in place. My bottom line is simply, because I've been through a lot of pain with JPS. JPS has given me bills that nobody on earth or heaven can account for. And I've had to go in their face. I've had to be angry. No, I don't think I got that one wrong. Cross, angry and miserable with JPS on, let me see now, 3 occasions. And they've had to roll back the bills because there have been some crazy bills they've come with. So until I see a JPS that is more reasonable, any politician can come and say anything during election as an election approach to make me happy. I'm not that person to be happy by utterances. When I see the actions and I specifically see a bill comes that reflects a more reasonable assessment of what I burn, then I'll say thank you to the minister. I gotta have the pudding first, sir. I gotta have the pudding first. That's all I'm saying. Because I've heard a lot about puddings and not even fire put up for the pudding. That's all I'm saying. Balance, how you doing?
I'm there poker, so.
But the poker thing, man. You don't hear that you must be in good health and be strong, man. What kind of poker thing you talking about?
Yeah, because the sun hot like wow, and we don't get no rain. So it make you
soon get rain, man.
comment and
You're not talking to Jaja, man?
yeah, but you know, say sometimes in a precarious position because the cricketer them have cricket today and them have praise the boy, they don't want no rain and the farm out there ball to water. Where man?
But them are gonna lose same way, man. Australia talking about them all lose, man. Might as well get the rain there, man, and get a postponement because they don't lose too long already, man.
I don't joke, we not win the match. We make it, yeah, it's out of Australia and them.
The man them stand up a little bit, balance. The man them stand up a little bit and you feel a little sense of good, and then just collapse. Man,
sure,
man. Rain fall there, man.
But you see, from them start, coach the cricketers them and tell them how to play. It mashed down the whole meditation. Over 15 years, West Indies used to control it. Every side them beat them. None couldn't beat them for over 15 years.
Right.
And now, they might tell them, get one man can tell you, because you have your natural talent.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of you develop that and you tell them, say, no, play this way and play that and do this. And from them start to that, you can't put on your pattern depend on West Indies.
But I always find it, I'm always intrigued by this. When a coach has the contradiction, the conflict of interest, where let's say we have a coach from Australia and then we have to go play Australia. You remember, I won't even call the game and hot up anybody's head today, but do you remember that some coaches have actually told their country how to beat?
All right. Yeah.
And I'm not making guesses now. I'm talking about what I saw in the news. So I don't know, sir. I don't know.
And then again, they have in the sport they have people that select people to come represent their country to come compete against their own country. How that person are gonna perform?
Yeah, it sounds a bit dodgy. The Brits would say it's a bit dodgy.
Anyway,
yeah, man.
The Prime Minister, I see him having some ad on the television. So sometimes it become annoying how the repetitiveness of it did. And when they're using the Prime Minister's office, is taxpayers' money or is the party's money paying for those ads?
It's interesting because when a government is in power, that government does not have a fair election. Let me say this again. When a government is in power, in this region where I live, called Jamaica, a part of the Caribbean, I guarantee you that government in power uses a lot of taxpayers' money to advertise stuff and to propagandize. That has always been the reality in Jamaica and elsewhere in the region. I've always been amazed at the kinds of ads, because I call them ads. They don't come as ads quite often. They come as information. But when you listen to that information, you go, wow. Especially if you were there at a particular meeting and saw that it went both ways. Yes? And then you hear one side coming from particular news and so forth, and you realize that, hey, these governments have been using taxpayers' monies to provide information that is biased in a way that turns out to be advertising.
Campaigning, yeah. And no government should not be doing that.
Well, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
You should use your party funds that you accumulate from legally ways rather than I use taxpayers' money and do that.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Not just give you the edge over the other one, but
They always,
it's unfair to
the
taxpayers.
party in power always has the information edge, always has the propaganda edge. It has always been that way. And I can guarantee you that the countries that were colonized, called the New World countries, that have less transparency and accountability than the rest of the world, they have the worst dose of that poison. Yeah? Bless up yourself, my brother.
Would a fixed election date make a difference in how governments in power wait until election time, soon come then start do everything until you say next 2 years we done?
Yes, a fixed election date will help some of that, but we also have to educate the people in the country to literally demand accountability and transparency. Because even as I sit here reading the text on WhatsApp, it's very clear how victory addicted people are. Right? People find it very impossible to be objective because and once you're segmented factional, it means that it makes it very difficult for a government to be motivated to respect you. It's as simple as that.
No, but there's a shot named JIS or API or whichever name you want to use. That they have government broadcast. I'm not hearing them using that slot. They
do. And remember that even that in itself can be and is most likely to be pro-government. So,
yeah, that's why it's
the government has a lot of machinery to stay in power. It's interesting. It's fascinating. Bless up yourself, my brother. All right, let me take this one very quickly. Doc, is it safe for the government to import used 15-year-old buses for students? Do you think the politicians would import 15-year-old cars for themselves? And Doc, if those buses were operating in salt and sand, they will begin to rot. All right, so here's the truth about vehicles that people may not realize. Large vehicles like trucks and buses actually have different standards in terms of years, because they do last longer, okay? Just as a matter of size. I know you may find this very weird, but it's true, all right? But 15-year-old buses, they'll sound a little bit old to me, all right? Let me take a quick break and come right back. Come back, everyone. Welcome back, folk. We're in the penultimate section, and therefore we're going to give each person 4 minutes each, all right? Ellie, how you doing?
Hello?
Yes, man. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. You know that I'm a farmer.
Yes.
And I joined the RADA over 5 years now. Next year coming, I have to renew in my ID.
Okay.
And one of them never come to the farm and come look for my farm and see what me have and what me don't have.
Wow.
You know? So I wondering how the government, plus I don't know if I have much time to tell you everything. But anyhow, the best place to do farming is Petchy Bottom. Petchy Bottom have 2 well drill round there, 1 spring, and the water coming from the river coming inside there. So, and 1980, Mr. Siaga mash it up. Princess Lodge, one of the wickedest MP ever come on Northwestern Center.
Wow.
For he come around there and told us 1980 that seeing government don't believe in a farming, so him going to build bakery. Take our name and say a bakery and go build around there. And from 1980 till now, I don't know what happened to around there again. And we were doing so good, but through a PMP run that farm around there, Mr. Siaga and Princess Lad mash it up. Trust me. So right now, sir, I'm telling you, say these government people, them only go on like them with farming, but they don't with farming. Trust me. So that's what may I tell you.
All right,
So me just a call you to let you know that this government don't believe in a farming. See?
Wow.
And Petri Bottom between Runai Bay and Discovery Bay, nowhere water like round there. And they mash up that farm. See?
Well, let me challenge Green and other persons working in agriculture to bring back agriculture and make it alive again. Bless up yourself.
Them not bring it back, sir. They not bring it back. Them only they go on through, then win the election, but they're not bringing it back. Then done with it clean. Mr. Green, only they go on like him a do anything. But listen to me. From them match down Petri Bottom Pioneer Farm, the country go right down. For we were all around there producing, have a lot of water. It's too well drill around the National Water Authority, drill too well around there. You have a spring around there, and you have the canal water we come into the pump house. When we was there pumping water and doing farming, oh my gosh. And 1980, Mr. Seaga win the election. Princess Lad come around there and say to us, say, him and in government don't believe in a farming, so I'm going to build bakery around there. And they mash it up. How much cow, goat, a lot of farming was being around there. Me don't know nothing go. The best farm manager you may have a KD Pinnock. He was at Minard.
All right, my brother.
So, brother.
Let's treat this as a challenge. We have to go because I'm giving everybody only 4 minutes.
Thank you. I will call again. It's my first time calling.
Yes, ma'am. Bless up yourself, my brother. All right. Well, a challenge to the government. Petri Bottom in St. Anne. You're hearing what the man said. Let that be a challenge, and somebody needs to respond. Great response. Somebody says, great response, thank you. This is to the question as to what is the greatest barrier to development in Jamaica. Great response, thank you. People are just stepping stones to get politicians access to public resources. Real development is the last thing on their minds. Maybe an exception here and there. Let's take the next call. Portmore, how you doing, my brother?
Good afternoon, Dr. Gale.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Well, I don't know why some politicians either then take weed, well, them really take weed as a puppet show, you know? When we have a situation where you're going to go overseas now, go get whole bus from out here, so go, you know, to go run. When we get brand new vehicle, we not maintain them. Because I know them at them mashed up. So how it makes sense for us to go and import these old vehicles to come carry school children? But when I respect them.
15 years old, 2010.
Huh?
It's a bit on
you know
the
that
side.
We're not going forward none at all. This government, them seems to just go and I remember them back in the 80s, then go Italy when Jamaica was responsible for the public service.
I don't know. I think we've lost Portmore. Or we'll just have to go on to the next call. Somebody here says, Doc, good afternoon. Those buses would be crushed in the United States for sure. I'm happy those people are happy to sell us the old buses. All right. Let's go to the Petra. How you doing? Hello?
Hello, Doc.
Yes, my brother.
Afternoon, man.
Afternoon.
Yeah, I don't think we're learning from history, you know.
Why?
Remember the used car, them, Doc?
Which one? Because they've been from my memory, there've been quite a few used car stories.
I'm talking about the time when the government decided to buy new used car for the police.
Oh, that one, the police used car.
A lot of the cars, when they come, them never serve no time, you know, because you remember, you know, you can get used car from abroad, but you must get reconditioned used car, you know, because I bought a reconditioned car from Japan when they just start the program, you know. And that car was almost like new, you know, reconditioned. It was reconditioned, not just something then just go take off of the lot. with all them old buses now with 15-year-old and all them buses, and most of them buses are automatic. Automatic bus don't do well and ill, especially if it's a transmission vehicle, you know. And if you have a transmission vehicle, take it. Make anybody who have mechanical experience tell you. And it used to run on the level for a period of time. Anytime you put it on the hill, you know, man, you have a problem, you know.
Right.
Anytime you start to drive that transmission vehicle up a hill, you start to have a problem. I'm telling you that. Right? So when them take money, go sell them and buy their old bus there. Old 15-year-old bus. You know, because I saw one of them and I record what they had. I don't know if it's AI, but I certain I saw one on social media there. The record carry it go somewhere. And if I carry them, I can go repair it or what.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This one is gonna be a lot of fun in the public, you know.
Yeah, but we get old for them bust the record and drive them all boat, man. Listen, man. At times, the people are going in authority, whether this government or whether the next government coming up for. Stop use PR, man. Stop use PR and do practical things. Because I'm certain that there's a better way of Is that a bad idea, you know? The idea is not a bad idea to get transportation for these kids, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, 15-year-old buses are old, but
yeah.
I still think there's a bigger picture, because remember that a 15-year-old truck and a 15-year-old bus are not the same. Larger vehicles like buses and trucks can have different age compared to a car.
I agree with that.
Tell me a little bit. The problem I find in Jamaica is if you buy those buses, you better have a good source, and you better have the culture and the attitude to keep them running. The problem I have in Jamaica is that we're not very good at maintaining stuff.
Right. Yeah, because as you know, I just say no. A 15-year-old truck is almost because right now in the bauxite industry, you know, they all truck at 20-year-old, you know.
Yeah, man.
And it's still running.
Yeah, the 15-year-old though, for a bus, it still has seen some amount of work on Earth.
Yeah, you know. So
I don't know. This one is going to be quite interesting, Metro.
With the type of terrain that we have,
we follow.
With the type of terrain that we have with these buses, and the size of the buses too.
Yes, the size is
I would have
also.
thought they would have gotten some smaller buses, them big old long buses, and I go manage them.
There's a lot in this that's worth discussing. Bless up yourself here.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody here wants me to tell Loudmouth John that some planes are 15-year-old. Boy, why no? Boy, I don't know. You don't need prayers, you know. You don't need prayers. Somebody have to go sit down and pray for, you know. No labor rights and comrades. Something wrong with no man. Right? Somebody going to have to sit down and just whisper some prayers for, you know, man. Because, boy, not take this segmentary factionalism to a different level. Sometimes I don't even know if I can find out who the brother and sister be after I get messed up in a labor rights something and comrade something. I want to just segmentary and factional. Brother Gale, this one says, Brother Gale, the U.S. Postal Service, as one example, have thousands of right-handed drive vehicles to facilitate mail delivery on the right side of the street, where standing mailboxes are situated in the United States. Right? I don't know where people get. I think people are just making all kinds of guesses to support their political party, and they end up just telling me a lot of foolishness that the U.S. don't have no right-hand drive cars. It's not a lot of garbage. And this person says, a true John, a 15-year-old decommissioned U.S. yellow bus, cheese bus, does not have much more service left in its lifetime. Well, I don't know. It's a matter of the quality, but starting out at 15 years old, boy, is kind of a journey already. USA usually send the school buses to third world countries that will accept them after they have outlived their usefulness. These buses will do well only for a little while They are not designed for bumpy roads and hilly terrains. All right, sir. And this one says, Golden and Bunting will not allow their children to travel. They're getting personal now. On these buses that the Gleaner is providing. That the what? The Gleaner is providing for school children here in Jamaica. Gleaner. I wonder, the Gleaner company buying buses now. All right, let me see. Let me see if I. Bunting and Golden said they will not allow their children to travel to school in Jamaica on these buses that the government will be. Oh, government, okay. So the person make that correction. But they will allow their children to travel to school in Florida and elsewhere on planes that are older, different level. Why not make these comparisons all the time? Man, you know, say no politicking and no. Why not make that comparison? I'm certain the person who write this have a little bit more sense than that. You actually think the way that governments maintain buses in Jamaica is comparable to how they maintain a plane? Boy, I don't. Write me something with sense. I'm challenging you people, right? We're at the break now, but write me something that makes complete sense. Soon come. And he's saying here, I am non-partisan and I have driven the buses. They don't need to be new because the design and technology in those buses haven't changed in over 2 decades. Second, the rear axles are air rides, so they can handle the road. The size of the buses and routes can be as the needs required. New buses can be procured from Africa also if needed. All right, some information there from Kevin Nairier. All right, Dr. Gale, I saw where Reka has been lifting these buses off the wharves. The bus broken down already, Dr. Gale, and they have not touched the road yet. I don't think that makes sense. The bus can break down and don't touch the road yet. Why not can't do better? What? No, man, this labor right and comrade thing, man. I'm gonna stop reading right when I start talk foolishness. Remember that you can actually buy a bus that is in that state, and you can buy. So I can buy a bus that's called a fixer-upper, right? And I can buy a brand new bus. I can buy a brand new car. I can buy a car that needs to be fixed. What it means that the bus brought down already and don't start drive yet. Herbs, heal up. I just had to pay $256,000 as a fictitious balance to JPS after 3 years of investigation. Yeah, JPS have issues and a lot of it needs to be sorted out. Anthony, how you doing?
Well, God bless everybody.
Bless up, my brother.
I'm here listening the conversation about the buses.
Mm-hmm.
We want our children to get good buses, and it is a start that bus coming into the country to carry school children.
Mm-hmm.
But I have some concern because of the speculation around the buses.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm doing some thinking. People said the buses are old buses. People also said that those buses, when they are retired, the government of America donate them to other countries. So I don't know if those things are true. So what I would like to see is, the invite is everything leading up to the bus,
mm-hmm.
to acquire those buses. When those buses are, the invoice and so forth, the amount of money that's spent on those buses. I think I would like to see those things.
So you're basically asking for what we ask for every day: transparency and accountability.
Yes, I think we need to get that because of the argument that's surrounding these buses.
Mm-hmm.
I think
then
we need
somebody
to
just need to come in and show us
the
bills. Yeah.
Yeah, to put some argument to rest.
Yeah, man.
It could be very well being a donation. No, it's honest. So to put all those type of arguments to rest, then we need to see all the particulars.
Yes, all right.
But
we have to go though here because I will give you
all
a
right,
time. Yeah, man. Good. All right.
right.
But that's a good point. That could put it to rest. All right. Let me try and take as many of these as possible. I'm convinced that the government bad mind Power 106. Why are you not getting many of the different government agencies and ministry public announcements? A lot about the word bad mind today. Dr. Gale, I have never been to Kenya, but I live in an age where I can travel the world intellectually in less than an hour while sitting in my seat at home. That's true. All right. And this one says, hi, Dr. Gale, I don't agree with the suggestion that the government use smaller buses for the school children, as this will increase the cost to the company to operate them. Example, they would have to employ more manpower, read drivers. Yeah, but that's not what they're saying, Ivan. What the people have been saying about smaller buses is very important. There are some roads, literally, there are some roads where not a big bus can go. That's a simple point. And that's a good point, which is why I've entertained the discussion and listen to people, because there are genuinely some places. I know this country very well, and there's some places even my little SUV struggle to even just turn one of the corners. Yeah? So they're saying that there are some areas. But at the same time, the government has to start at some point. Yeah? But I'm trying to listen to both sides. But it's not, I get the point you're making, but some of the buses, some of the areas do require smaller buses. Don't throw away the facts completely. Dr. Gale, many years ago, JUTC rolled out over 400 buses per day in Kingston, St. Andrew. Am I right in thinking they currently have only about half that number? Well, people have been saying that. No wonder people have to be waiting hours at the roadside. All right. I'm cutting this short. The government started with old cars for the police. Now they are ending their term with old cars, old bus for the children. Oh boy, the politics turn up. Dr. Gale, the school bus doesn't carry standing facilities. They are all structured for seating. Well, that's a good thing. All right. Take a look at this interesting information. We won't have the time for that. Dr. Gale, with all the shortcomings of the used school buses, I think they are better than leaving our children to whims, fancies, and desires of taxi men. All right, see, it's another point, a good point. And with all the different kinds of abuse that school children, especially girls, have to endure, I'm surprised to hear the people who now see taxi as the answer to the transportation of school children. At least with the buses, it will be much easier to monitor and control by the authorities. So to me, these used buses are not a panacea, but it's better than the current situation. See, some points coming. Good afternoon, Dr. Gale. How is it that we are doing so well fiscally, and in an election year, public sector workers have to be striking for retroactive pay? Something is not right. All right. Good day, Dr. Gale. The garbage trucks in the USA have two steerings. The postal vehicles also have right-hand drive. However, school buses, private vehicles, school buses are left-hand drive. I live in the States and go Canada all the time. The vehicles here are left-hand drive. All right. A person trying to qualify, but I know for sure that they are right-hand drive in the US. I grew up in a PMP family in Jamaica, and I have been through the rigorous process of driving on anything to get to and from school, including tractor loaded with sugar cane and trucks loaded with sand and bananas. With that said, I'm a Jamaican. I as a Jamaican have no problems with any sensible move by any government to make the kids safer and more secure while traveling to and from school. All right, words. In 1980, JLP got some used mail vans as their campaign vehicles from the USA. Can you remember how long they lasted? Interesting ones. Doc, is the Prime Minister waiting for a hurricane to come to call the election? Even if a hurricane comes, he has to call it. But Doc, did you see the massive PMP River of Orange in Crystal? No, I didn't see it. And sent it over the weekend. PMP supporters are ready. Doc, I compare those buses all broke, like when people send wear and left clothes to family in Jamaica, or wind in the flatulence in the buses and clothes. Doc, Jamaicans don't wear clothes with flatulence. Jeez, no man. No, sir, I'm not behaving myself. I'm just not. I'm at the end of my program. Why are you people not behaving yourselves? Huh? Blessings, Dr. Gill. Can you please use your platform to ask the Prime Minister to call the election for me and ask the electorate to please go and vote for whoever they choose? This person just wants it to get it. Well, Prime Minister, you hear? People them just want the election now. Them can't bother the long passa and all of these stories. Dr. Gill, Mr. Voss has announced via Twitter that he will be having a press conference tomorrow to address the school bus issue. All right, we await it. Take good care of yourselves, everybody. I see you again tomorrow. I want to thank, of course, my guest today, Shireen Golden Camber. We had a good conversation about the direction we are trying to go to take care of one of our top 3 most vulnerable groups of people in Jamaica. We call them older people or the aged or retired. All right. I want to say thanks to all my listeners today, all my participants, and I need to say thank you. Most of the texts, even some of the very political ones, were very good today. A few were a little bit off the track, but that's expected. Welcome to Jamaica. And I want to say thanks to my technical team, of course. That's Davin Thomas and, of course, Shandell Forbes. God bless. I'll see you again tomorrow as we do this all over. Bye-bye. Have a good day.